Hi guys, welcome back to the Wrestling Stand here on YouTube. I'm Beatdown Bunny bringing you another review for ECW, the Delta DVD collection. Continuing on with 1995, we have Gangstas Paradise today. So upon putting this into my PS5, I wanted to check out the runtime and it said 1 hour 35 minutes, and I was thinking to myself, oh no, this isn't going to be a full event, even though it's got quite a long match listing on the back of the DVD. I was absolutely gutted. So I was expecting full matches to begin with before putting the disc in, but unfortunately most of these matches were highlights and were heavily edited. And I thought to myself, oh no, that absolutely sucks. But anyway, I'll tell you about the matches, and I'll talk more about that later. So we kick things off with the Broad Street Bully taking on Bull Payne in the opening contest. This wasn't too bad. Within the first minute or so, Joey Styles, I think it was, on commentary said, this is already an absolute slobber knocker. And I was thinking to myself, we're only like a minute or so into the match and hardly anything's happened yet. And he said, he was coining a phrase from JR. So I kind of saw a funny side to that, but still, it was a bit of a stupid thing to say, I guess. And throughout this pay-per-view, there was a lot of swear words blanked out again, mainly the words shit and bullshit. And I didn't understand that because later on when we get to the main event, New Jack gets the microphone and says motherfucker and, loads of F-bombs and everything else, which didn't get blanked out. I don't understand that. Again, is it something to do with how this DVD was edited? Very bizarre. Anyway, so back to the Broad Street Bully versus Bull Payne. It was an okay opening contest. Bit one-sided in Bull Payne's favour, and he picked up the victory. Next up, we had lots of Dudley boys. So we had DW Dudley, which was Dances with Dudley, and Dudley Dudley, with Sign Guy Dudley, Chubby Dudley, and Big Dick Dudley taking on Chad Austin and Dougie Allen in a tag team match. And this one, I gotta be honest, guys, was pretty much a squash match for the Dudleys. And didn't really appeal to me. Again, highlights, and you didn't get to see the full match anyway. But what I did see of it was all one-sided, in the Dudleys' favour, that is. And next up we had Hack Myers take on JT Smith. Now, I've never seen JT Smith wrestle before, and I must admit I was impressed by him. He was, he seemed like quite a tough guy, and he did, it looked like he was blowing a few spots as well. And like he went to do like various moves, say from the rope, and he kept slipping. And I don't know if this was purpose, but this happened towards the end of the match where he'd gone to do a move on the ropes, and he slipped and went through the table on the outside, and the referee counted him out, and the announcer announced it as a DQ win for Hack Myers, which was absolutely bizarre. But Joey Styles on commentary was screaming it was a count out victory for Hack Myers. Very, very strange rules back then. Kind of reminds me of WCW. If you throw your opponent over the top rope, you get disqualified or something like that. I can't remember now, but it was just that kind of bizarre, those kind of bizarre rules. But as I said, JT Smith looked very interesting, and I'd like to check out more of his work going forward. Hopefully he features on more of these ECW DVDs when I work through them. So next up we have ECW Tag Team Title match, a 2 out of 3 Falls dog collar match. So we had the Pitbulls taking on Raven and Stevie Richards, beg your pardon. And this was very fun, and I think I see Stevie Richards in a different light now. No disrespect to him, he was always booked in WWE, where I mainly know him, as this really weak kind of jobber type character. No, like I said, no disrespect towards him, but here in ECW, watching him here, he's really tough, and a million times better than how he was booked in WWF, WWE in the late 90s, early 2000s. But Yeah, the match itself was pretty cool. 2 out of 3 falls, as I said. So Raven put a pit bull through the table with a pile driver for the first fall, and I think Stevie Richards got put through a table as well by one of the pit bulls for the second fall, tying the match at 1 apiece. Then we had loads and loads of interference from various tag teams, and it just got quite frustrating, to be honest. I did enjoy that match up until that point, and then it ended up lots of interference and lots of wrestlers helping the Pitbulls defeat Raven and Stevie Richards to capture the ECW Tag Team Championship. Next up, we had what I consider probably match of the evening. So we had Rey Mysterio take on Psychosis. So 20-year-old Rey Mysterio. And lots of high-flying lucha style moves, as you would expect from these two. And Rey Mysterio Jr., he was called, sorry, here. I don't know if I said that, guys. But yeah, with the Junior. And yeah, good stuff from both wrestlers. And it was, really good to see that kind of wrestling back in the mid-90s. It was something different and something fresh. And when it was introduced in WCW with the Cruiserweight division, it was just very impressive. And yeah, both wrestlers gave it, a good go this match, and Rey Mysterio came out victorious. And yeah, highly recommend that one, guys. But as I said, a lot of editing going on, and lots of highlights, which was very off-putting. I'd love to see this event in full in its entirety. So I might consider, looking up the RF video released to see if that has all the matches in full instead of all these highlights. There was a match that's not listed on the back that was also included, and that was the Steiner brothers and Taz taking on the Eliminators and Jason in a 6-man tag. And, seeing the Steiners in ECW for the first time, pretty impressive. But sadly, it was all highlights, and it was pretty much showing the Steiners' dominance with Rick Steiner's Steiner line and various power moves from both Steiner brothers. And then we get the finish where Taz and the Steiner brothers lose when Taz gets pinned, which was kind of disappointing. I wanted to see that match in full, in its entirety again, but it was just like a highlight reel, which was very disappointing indeed. And then we had the main event, which was absolutely brutal, a steel cage match, which saw Mikey Whipwreck and the Public Enemy take on the Sandman, Too Cold Scorpio, and New Jack. Brilliant stuff, absolutely brilliant. And as I said at the beginning of this this review, New Jack was allowed to use the F-bombs throughout his promo he cut before the match, and none of it got bleeped out, which I don't understand. But yet, like I said, words like shit and bullshit were bleeped out earlier in this DVD. Very bizarre stuff. I don't get that at all. But yeah, the match itself, absolutely brutal and pretty cool, pretty amazing. And I was thinking to myself, now didn't Steve Austin show up in ECW in 1995 around this kind of time? Wasn't he supposed to show up at this pay-per-view? Like I said, I've never seen this before. This is the first time I've watched it. And he didn't show up on the event. And I was thinking, maybe it got cut out then because they've edited everything else. So I'd done a little bit of research, and I found out it was he was actually on ECW Hardcore TV in 1995. So my apologies for that, guys. I was overthinking that one, thinking Austin was going to be on the Gangstas Paradise DVD, but he wasn't. I even checked the extras as well, which they call nuggets, I do believe, on this DVD. Yes, but yeah, overall, I wish, like I said, I know I've said it earlier in the video, that it wasn't more like highlights and rather just the whole event on the DVD, and we would have had a higher score. But I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 10. I'm sure I would have scored it higher had it been in its entirety. And then, like I said, with all the editing with the swear words as well, it's just bizarre. And yeah, I'd say check it out, but I'm going to check out the RF video release of it just in case it's different. I'm sure it's going to be different to the Delta release. I'm disappointed in this one in a way, guys, because like I said, you nowadays as well, you pay a lot of money for these ECW DVDs, and for this one to be mainly highlights, absolutely sucked ass. But anyway, guys, that's the review for Gangsta's Paradise 1995 from ECW, released by Delta Music in 2002. I've been Beatdown Bunny, and thank you very much for listening. Goodbye for now.